Xavier Hendrickx, you're a law student. You've been taking part in the youth forum here. What decided you to come along and take part in what is a conference about genetic technology, about farming, about food production?
Well, I've always been very interested in GMOs, and several weeks ago I read the articles on WM9 about the legislation on GMOs in Europe, and I knew Syngenta was a lobby behind this case, so I was very curious to see how Syngenta would present themselves to the public, and yeah, that's it.
What do you make of the way that they have presented themselves to the public? Because I mean, there is obviously an argument on both sides here.
Well, they're doing very well actually. In the youth forum, they at the end poll, most people were quite positive about GMOs. But I think myself, it's my opinion of course, that they presented too positively. They presented as a new next green revolution, as the solution for the climate change problems, etc. But I'm still very skeptic. But I think they present very well for people who are just coming here for general info. So I think they're doing well.
A lot of people, though, are very much against the whole idea of genetic technology in crop production and animal production too. They fear that the case is, the need for it is amplified and built up by companies and organizations like Syngenta. And do you feel that there is an element of that?
Yes, I don't really understand why we need GMOs. I know they've been accepted in the United States and elsewhere in the world, and that Europe is standing behind. And people say that Europe should follow, but I do not understand why. Why the need for GMOs? If there is a real lack of food, why not stop eating so much meat or distribute better? Because we have too much food here. We eat too much. Too much health problems are related to obesity, etc. So I think GMO food isn't a solution, but better distribution and less consumption should be an option.
That's a hard one to sell to the public, though, isn't it? You're telling people to change their way of life and their diet.
Yes, that's true, and there aren't many sites to take the path because it's not so popular, and there isn't very much profit to be gained at first sight at this path. But I think it's inevitably the way we're headed to, because now GMOs, they see the next revolution, so the production, they think, hopefully will be increased, but when we will stop increasing production? There is an end to it, and I think it's better to stop now before meddling with things like nature. It's very difficult decision to make, and I think we don't know enough yet about GMOs, and we should better first start thinking about our habits and changing our habits before implementing such large changes in our system. Yes.
The biotech industry would argue that, particularly with climate change, as well as the need to feed so many mouths, climate change means that the world is drying out in some places. Drought-resistant plants can be grown in areas that are perhaps barren at the moment. I mean, presumably, they do have a point there, don't they?
Oh, sorry,
plants that resist a shortage of water, for instance.
Yes, yes.
I mean, they have a point. If it means that you can grow plants where they couldn't be grown before, that's a good thing.
Yes. That's a good thing, and I agree. But until now, I haven't seen any evidence of such GMOs really working. They present it to the public, they advertise it. I'm not an expert in the matter. But for example, I know of plants in India. I've seen a documentary. And the plants were said to be resistant to certain insects and sicknesses. Well, they implemented the cotton plants, just named, but soon after they saw that the plant itself began to cultivate a sickness owed to the genetically modified plants, and they had to produce a new sort of medicine just to cure the plants. And I think the system we have now, it's a natural system. We know the evolution of the theory of evolution, and the best way to see how things will go is to see it evolve by itself. And I think it's very high-hearted of us to think we can be better than nature. We can adapt things better than nature can do for us. I mean, that's my point of view, of course.